Hi Gemini, it's Jenny Fitterer here with your January Tarotscope. I have a single card for you for the month of January. The first 2/3 of January is Capricorn season, and then we will be rolling into Aquarius. So the card that I have for you this month is the Five of Coins reversed. So this is the way it looks the right way up. There's lots going on. So we have these people kind of, I'm not quite sure if it's a church scene or people praying or what's going on. There's this kind of vaulted ceilings above them, but it's all pretty obscured by these flowers and these butterflies. And then this sort of shape of a tree almost coming up in front of them. And then there's all these coins here. They came out upside down like that, okay? So let's see what the Five of Coins has for you this month, Gemini. Okay, Five of Coins. Compassion. The red gnarled roots running across the card and over the great arch in the background raise questions. What have heaven and earth, wish and reality in common, and what is the difference? The answer, human community and individual uniqueness. The communal aspect is given special prominence in the left half of the card. In the right half, however, the figures are hidden by big flowers, which symbolize the flourishing of each individual's magic and the sheltering of private life. 5 coins represent the essence of the earth element, the full blossoming of your talents. This transformation is emphasized by the caterpillar in its cocoon, directly above the lower 4 coins, and the butterflies that have already emerged. It takes both community and individuality to succeed. Personal assets, property as well as ability, create enough value to rule out avoidable human hardships and to make unavoidable distress bearable. There are hardships caused by hunger or sickness, but also others which arise from unfulfilled needs. The hunger for meaning, the thirst for love, or the longing for roots. Each and every type of human plight is a tragedy. Where the need is greatest, our talents can achieve the most. Make a virtue of necessity. Where the darkness is deepest, your light is needed most. Where your talents shine, walls become transparent, and you will stand on firm ground in all situations. Take care of your strengths as well as your weaknesses and of big and small things alike. Build a bridge between heaven and earth. Become involved without becoming constrained. Practical advice. Refuse to fulfill unfounded demands, but discharge meaningful obligations with a glad heart. Put an end to unnecessary suffering. Make the world a more human, a more livable, comfortable, and valuable place. Well, isn't that nice, Gemini? Okay, so your card for the month is compassion. And compassion as a very practical thing. So sometimes we can think of compassion as just like sympathy and emotional, like, oh, I have compassion for you, or somebody's in trouble and I feel something for that. Or, oh, I can really relate and I have compassion and I love you. But sometimes what especially the way that we're actually going to care for ourselves in community and individually is compassion needs to be attached to action to truly experience itself. So otherwise it is just sympathy. So compassion in this case is really seeing and being aware of the needs, the tragedies, the pain points, whether that's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, of ourselves, of our communities, and our loved ones, being aware of it, and then seeing what you can do about it. But not seeing what you can do about it as in that is this obligation that you have to do, or this demand that you have to do, or you're a terrible person if you don't, or the weight of the world is on you, you have to fix all evils. It's really this connection between your talents and your skill sets and the needs of yourself and others, and marrying them together in a proper relationship between giver and receiver. So what it's really saying is you have talents, you have abilities, you have passions and joys, and those passions and joys will fit like a puzzle piece to a need somewhere, a pain point somewhere, a desire somewhere, an opportunity somewhere. And that can't just be for yourself. Your talents and your skills can help and fulfill your own desires and needs. Your talents and skills can help fulfill somebody else's desires and needs. So it's this beautiful relationship between really understanding and utilizing your talents and your skill set in a compassionate way, and compassion being the active form of giving out of sympathy or empathy, or out of just a seeing of that there is a need. So it can't just be seeing and knowing that there's something there. It really does, it is that step of actually doing it as well. And that's part of why this is a coins card rather than like a cups card, which is more about the emotions. This is about the doing. This is about resources. This is about talents. And I do like how this card is also, it's not like there's this weird way that our culture can sometimes like like glorify poverty or glorify suffering or glorify disability, as in it's so inspiring, as in it's like this weird holy fetish with suffering, which also then means that there isn't actually a drive to fulfill it, like to heal it, or there's a guilt of wanting to have more than a baseline. So this card is really like that. I love that it brings up that having some assets does then aid us in hardship, and it makes distress bearable, and that there are lots of hardships of hunger and sickness or emotional hardness, of loneliness, that it's not like there's some great nobility to be hungry or some great resilience to be lonely. No, those needs are actually a little cry for calling for compassion for somebody to bring in their talents to step in and fulfill. And that we can have that judgment. I mean, especially, sense of money or wealth or resources. Certainly if you're hoarding resources, or there's certainly when wealth becomes too accumulated, and it's not actually like when wealth and resources is not connected to fulfilling needs and desires and fulfilling compassionate care, that's when it can be problematic. But just having resources, just deciding to amass a bit of wealth, just deciding to have some comfort in your existence in a physical way, that's okay. There's no need to demonize that. And it is generally that when we have, enough for ourselves, and then we have a little excess, that's when we can give to others. Certainly, one of the ways in which we do amass and accumulate things in a negative way is when we're afraid that our needs will not be fulfilled. So often that fear of scarcity is what causes us to stockpile and then cause scarcity to somebody else. So if we can detach from that fear of scarcity, and the only way we can detach from scarcity is to connect to compassion, connect to the network, connect to somebody's talents fulfilling you, connect to being okay to receive from yourself and from others. If you can't receive, you're always going to be in that fear point of not having enough, which means you're going to try to gather more than you need and cause scarcity somewhere else. So this compassion, talent, giving and receiving is really how we stop that negative feedback loop. And that really also starts with not shaming yourself for wanting to get your needs met. So that's the card. How that relates to the astrology of this month, the first 2/3 of the month is Capricorn season. And this fits so nicely because Capricorn is all about providership, and roots and foundation, and specifically the foundation that we need in order to provide the resources to us and our community for multiple generations. So it's all about long-term thinking of resources that will benefit the community for a long time. So, and thinking about it from a foundational level. So so it's very sustainable. It's not just I need to go out and, what might not be sustainable is if you're thinking, okay, I need more money because I've got some bills to pay, and so I'm actually just going to add a bunch more shifts right now because I need the money right now, but then I burn myself out or I might injure myself, and so then I actually can't make more money later. So this desire to I have to get it done now may actually cause a handicap later, instead of thinking, okay, well, I maybe want to add a few more shifts, or so actually maybe I need to actually be eating or sleeping more. I need to take a little bit less over here because I need a bit more resources, or maybe I'm going to contact somebody to see if we can be working in connection with things. And it's slowly, it's not just seeing the need and jumping immediately to try to fix it and then realizing you didn't actually have the resources. It's okay, I see the need. Okay, I'm gonna get to you, and because I'm going to first make sure I have a really good foundation, so that once I'm able to give, I don't necessarily have to stop, because I'm not going to be giving until I've poured and emptied myself. I'm going to be giving because I've got my roots that's pulling up nutrition, and we're in a cycle now of giving and receiving, so it's sustainable. It doesn't have to stop. So that's Capricorn, is looking at that foundation in order to be able to provide sustainably for the community, yourself, for the long term. Then we have Aquarius season, and Aquarius is, I'm getting in this particular version of Aquarius, the archetype we're feeling into for this card is innovation. So Aquarius is the innovator, the inventor. They really, the scientist, even the tinkerer, the experiment to get a new thing, to mix the concoctions and discover a whole new thing. And then to take that innovation and discovery and bring it back to the community to benefit others. Sometimes we can get in a cycle of innovation for its own sake, innovation for ego, innovation just to be different, innovation to stay ahead of the game. But innovation always has to be connected to a need. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. Or it's just egoic. It's just kind of making yourself feel good. It should be, there's a need, and what can I innovate in order to fulfill that need in a new and exciting way, or in a way that's even more sustainable, or a way that helps more people. So the Aquarian idea of innovation and invention is so very tied to the needs of the community. So that's what's going to be happening kind of towards the end of the month, is maybe after you've kind of built a bit more of a foundation for your resources, there might be a little eureka of a new way to get needs met, a new way to build your skill set into compassionate giving for somebody else, or a new way that you've realized that you can receive from somebody else. So it's this kind of flash of inspiration that's going to be coming towards the end of the month, which is likely because we are in some retrogrades right now, and those retrogrades will be finishing around mid-January. So retrograde is already a very internal energy, so often we can feel kind of blocked or stuck or confused, and then once those retrogrades move direct, there's a little bit more room for that inner flow. So that's, if you want a little bit more information on that, the Capricorn season Pay What You Can forecast is up and available on the YouTube channel, so there's a bit more information on those transits to see how it's going to flow. So do check that out. I appreciate all donations, but that's what's happening for you this month, Gemini. So sounds really exciting. Best of luck, and I will be here for you next month.